Meanwhile, stars of the hit musical Mula sa Buwan, Myke, Salomon, and Gab Pangilinan will again share the stage for another local production of Jason Robert Brown's The Last 5 Years. Joining us now are Myke and Gab. Hi guys, welcome.
Good evening.
To the final word. Let's start with you. Gab, The Last 5 Years is about what? A failed relationship.
Yes.
Run our audience through the storytelling.
Okay, so The Last 5 Years is, it's a two-hander, which basically means it's a story with two characters. And it's maybe a 90-minute musical. And it talks about the relationship of Jamie and Kathy. And literally the last 5 years. But the way the story is told is Jamie starts at the beginning of the relationship and Kathy starts at the end of the relationship. And it's just a different way, I guess, of telling the story of...
ingenious way of...
Yes. Another side of it, though, is they're both artists as well. So that's also something, I guess, that
so one is an actress and one is a writer.
One is a struggling actress and the other is a succeeding,
successful
an up-and-coming novelist.
So I'm sure a lot of people are very interested to watch this, but let's talk about the rehearsal process first. Myke, how is the rehearsal process going? Are there any tweaks that you made?
Well, it
depends.
The magic happens with our director Topper Fabregas. So it's we've been learning a lot of things about it because it's been around for, I don't know, a decade or more than a decade, and now we're seeing more...
2 decades, actually.
2 decades, yes.
The first
we're
time it
seeing
was
more
8
meaning to
years.
it. We're trying to flesh it out more and just try to tell the story in a new way.
Yeah.
Okay, is there like a Filipino flavor that you're adding to it?
I think the fact that we're both Filipinos is flavor enough. You know what I mean? Yung how
it's
people...
the patis.
how Filipinos tell stories, I think. I mean, how Filipino artists tell stories, especially for Filipino audiences. I think that alone will show also with how we're both artists in real life also. So that alone, I guess, makes it also interesting. And Topper Fabregas, our director, he also really wanted to focus. I mean, of course, it's a love story, and everybody goes through heartache, heartbreak, and failed relationships. We all know what that's like. But Topper, our director, also wanted to kind of focus on how two artists maybe met at the wrong time. And you know, that's something that's, I mean...
So parang it was the right love at the wrong time?
Pwede,
sort of
diba?
thing.
Parang
They weren't
could be.
even at the same page.
Yes, but that's something that people, I mean, will have to see and decide for themselves. Also.
Now, Gabby, earlier you mentioned that the first staging of this was 20
decades
years ago.
Exactly.
Are you taking inspiration from...
Well, Menchu and Audie will always be our inspiration. I mean, they're the first lady. I mean, they call Tita Menchu the first lady of Philippine theater, and of course, Tito Audie right alongside her.
But we're talking about Menchu Lauchenko.
Menchu Lauchenko Yulo.
Yes, because
she's
I'm
another
a different Menchu. Okay.
Yes, just to be clear.
Okay.
Yes.
But, you know, there were more recent adaptations, like in 2014, that movie with Anna Kendrick
and Jeremy Jordan.
And then you also had the 2014 production here with
Joaquin Pedro Valdez.
Yes.
And who is now
Nikki.
in the West End, and Nikki Hill.
Yes.
So this is the third iteration or third staging of The Last 5 Years here. I guess it's for this generation because it's been 2 decades. Parang 1 decade apart yung each staging, right? So I guess it makes it interesting also, and there's a whole new audience waiting also for this story.
Now, you mentioned earlier that Kathy is a struggling actress. Were there, like, you know, some aspects to that character that resonated with you? Yes?
Of course, yes. I mean, especially in, I guess, in this country, I mean, in the Philippines, as an actress, there are all these discussions coming up, and how being an actor or being a theater actor or being an artist in general should be a side job. And of course, that's up for discussion. It's been a long, I don't know how many years. For me, it's my 9th year in the industry, and of course there are side hustles. There are so many things that we need to do, and but yeah, if you watch and you're an artist, for sure you will be resonating with how ambitious Jamie is and how stubborn in a way Kathy is when it comes to what she wants to achieve in life, you know.
Is that something that resonated with you, yung pagka-stubborn ng character mo?
Well, everyone goes through that phase.
Yes,
and,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially starting.
Were there things in your character, like in there, that kind of were difficult for you to connect with?
I think right now we're in the process of discovering our characters even more. I mean, of course, surface level wise, it's easy to relate to them because they're artists. I mean,
Yes.
a writer and an actress, a stage actress specifically, right? So, so as we go along the rehearsal process, we're kind of discovering more and more of what we resonate with, what we connect with, and what more we could flesh out. So I guess that's what makes it exciting. And even with our musical director Ronnie and our director Topper Fabregas, they are giving us also so much freedom to explore of course it's existing material, and what usually happens with foreign materials or foreign musicals that come here, you can't change anything
yeah.
that's written or
Okay.
like that's in the score or that's in the script. But I think from our personal experiences and how we are as artists as well, that's going to be seen also with how we tell the story.
Well, speaking of personal experiences, you are in real life a married couple.
Yes.
And how are you kind of injecting your connection and chemistry into the play?
I don't think we have tried injecting anything except for one scene.
One scene.
Yes.
That's the interesting part actually about the musical, which
We
I
don't-
think not a lot of people know
No.
about.
Yes.
Because I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with the movie, where Anna Kendrick and Jeremy Jordan are basically together in the entire.
Yes.
But how the musical is written,
You only have
Stage,
one
yeah.
scene.
we only have one scene
That
where we're
intersects.
actually
Yes.
face to face.
Okay.
Of course, with what you see, I mean that's gonna be a surprise na. But like how it's written, it's only in one scene where our timelines basically
Intersect.
So
So how do you play? How do you separate being like a kind of like a couple on and off stage?
we don't. Just kidding.
You don't.
I'm just
We are
kidding.
still trying to figure it
That out.
I think something interesting also with our previous production together, Mula sa Buwan, we played it was an unrequited love kind of story. So Myke played Cyrano, I played Roxanne, and his character was in love with me, whereas Roxanne just saw him as a friend. And so I guess it's our first time to play on stage, to play an on-stage couple. Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of hard. I remember this one rehearsal where I was singing a particular line. And you remember this now? I was laughing.
What was the line? Do you remember?
Because we don't share the stage.
Yeah.
And that time I was looking at her and I was singing the lines. Now, have I mentioned today
Oh, yeah.
how lucky I am to be in love with you? I broke down.
You
So
were
I was
laughing.
laughing. Yeah.
Because he meant it. Yeah, no, but then there are those because there's the way Jason Robert Brown wrote this musical. It's so beautiful, beautifully written.
The words
there-
and the music.
so that particular line, have I mentioned today how lucky I am to be in love with you? It's like, yeah, of course. Sometimes you can't help but actually feel it in that moment. I mean, as actors, that's how we are. But also in real life, because we're an actual couple, it's like,
Yes.
oh, you
We
meant it.
every night.
Oh, well, aside from, those lessons about appreciating the person that you are with, what else can audiences learn about love and heartbreak from
Well,
the play?
It's a precautionary
Right.
tale.
Yeah.
And it's a modern tragedy.
That's true. I mean, the kind of love story that the last 5 years is, again, in other iterations, or if you saw it before, people would automatically, I mean, in any relationship, there are always sides to choose.
Yes.
And I think with with this story in particular, of course, we can't force anyone to decide or to pick a side, but
So
if we focus on our artistry, or if we focus on these two individuals who tried so hard to make it work with their personal goals and their careers and how we are in real life, I guess that's also something to look into, or it's a discussion that any two couples could have, or even friends, to see and to be like, okay, what do I prioritize right now? Or it's about time, it's about the perfect timing, or it's about communication, and it's about memory. So apart from just that love story or just a failed relationship, it's so much more than that.
it sounds like this is the perfect date night.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Or
Maybe.
a barkada
And they need
outing.
a decompression day
Yeah.
after.
Very quickly, can you invite everyone to catch the last 5 years?
We would like to invite everyone to catch Barefoot Theater's The Last 5 Years this September 29 at the Power Mac Theater Spotlight.
Power Mac Center Spotlight at Circuit Makati, the Black Box Theater there. You can get your tickets at tickettome.net. And of course, please do follow Barefoot Collab on
Yes.
Instagram, TikTok, everywhere actually. And you can get your tickets also on bit.ly/L5Y tickets. And follow the hashtag L5Y2023.
All right. Thank you so much, Myke Salomon and Gab Pangilinan, for joining us
Thank you so
tonight.
much.